Two houses can look identical in Gig Harbor, but they can be vastly different. One can be just a gold mine and one can create a lot of daily friction. And the reason for this is not the house, it's where it's located. When you map out Gig Harbor, a very clear pattern shows up. And that's what we're gonna break down in this video, is mapping out those locations to see what may be the best fit for you. Some are certainly more convenient than others. And I need to put this disclaimer out here. I am not steering you in any direction one way or the other. I help people buy and sell houses all over Gig Harbor, no matter what location it is in Gig Harbor. However, there are some conveniences to some locations over the others, so I'm gonna do a ranking. This is my own personal ranking, so take it with a grain of salt, because what I may say is a 1-star may be a 5-star for you. In this video, we're gonna talk about some of those locations that may cause a little daily friction. We're gonna talk about some of those locations that may add a good balance of being out and away from everything, but convenience to schools and freeways and things like that. And we're gonna talk about those prime locations where the resale value is going to be through the roof. So let's head outside. We're going to go to some of these locations and talk about them and give you all the ins and outs of everything. And by the way, this little QR code right down here, make sure you click on that. It's my relocation guide for Gig Harbor. It'll talk about all these areas in depth. Okay, so the first neighborhood that we're gonna talk about, and this ranks as a 1-star for me personally, is the Key Peninsula. And here's the reason why. There's nothing wrong with the Key Peninsula. The problem is accessing it. You see that? That is the Purdy Bridge, and that is the Purdy Spit. And those line of cars right there, that is the problem. So right now it's 9:30 in the morning or so we're past rush hour, but you still have a lot of cars. Thank God they're moving right now, so it's not too much of a slowdown. But during traffic hours, this gets really bad. Up. It is a 2-lane bridge, one way, each way, right? And either everybody accessing Gig Harbor to go to work or the high school or anything like that coming this way in the morning, it's backed up. And then the Purdy exit here in front of me on the other side of the camera, going that way for everybody going home in the afternoon and evening, it gets really congested. So this traffic light behind me, this is the big culprit of everything, as well as the 2-lane bridge and the Purdy Spit, which is only 2 lanes. But that light right there, it gets backed up for a long way, especially in the afternoon. Everybody going home out to the Key Peninsula from Tacoma or downtown Gig Harbor, wherever they're coming from, and you can get backed up there for a long time. So again, I have to stress, there's nothing wrong with the area. It's just not very convenient to access because of the traffic. If you come through here at noon or at midnight, it's a breeze, it's a non-issue. But during traffic hours, it's definitely going to add to your commute, and it's something you should think about. And it's even busier during school, like the school year type time frame, because the high school is right on the other side of those trees. So you get a lot of traffic. All the kids that go to public school on the Key Peninsula go to Peninsula High School right there. Okay, so now, while it may rank as a 1-star in my book, there are still some pros to living out on the Key Peninsula. And here they are, really quick, nitty gritty. Your dollar goes further. You can definitely afford a bigger house, more land, more privacy, all of that stuff. You're gonna have way more affordability out in the Key Peninsula than downtown Gig Harbor. Now, the flip side of that, the con is it's just further to get anywhere, right? It's further to get to work. It's further to get to shopping. It's further to get to schools. You have to deal with traffic, and it's further away from the medical facilities, right? All those things, the amenities, medical, freeway access, they're closer in. That's way further out. So let's flip it back to a pro. People that want privacy, people that want to be away from the hustle and bustle, people that want to have the rural feel out in the country. That's the spot to be, and your dollar is going to go way further. And one more big pro that I want to really keep in mind is all of this stuff that we're going to talk about is part of Peninsula School District, which is where Gig Harbor is. We're in the Peninsula School District. So you could be out on the Key Pen, have more affordability, but still get the great Peninsula School District that everybody else gets access to.
By the way, my name is Darren Rivers. I am the Northwest Realtor and Managing Broker of the Rivers Group, and our team help people buy and sell houses in Gig Harbor all the time. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of clients, and we're more than happy to help you out. Hopefully these videos will show you what Gig Harbor is all about. If you're thinking about relocating here, feel free to contact us. All of our information is right here. The whole team is here to help you out, and give us a call. Okay, so let's transition into what I consider myself the 2-star neighborhoods. One of them is Fox Island and the other one is Gig Harbor East. And let me give you a little secret. Fox Island and Gig Harbor East are awesome. I personally like Fox Island better than Gig Harbor East. That's just my own personal personal opinion. I just like the vibe out there better, but Gig Harbor East is certainly for some people too. The pros of each of them are they're a little bit more quiet. They're a little bit more out there. You have more space, more privacy. There's lots of waterfront options and water views on both of them. Gig Harbor East has Sunrise Beach and Point Richmond and neighborhoods like that. All of great water views. You can see Mount Rainier, Covos Passage, Vashon Island, things like that. Fox Island is an island, right? So there's lots of great waterfront homes, homes with their own private docks, lots of homes with great views. Again, views of Mount Rainier, but all the way over to the Olympic Mountains and the great sunsets. It's a really cool spot to be. But here's why I only rank them as 2 stars, is because they're a long way out there. They're just not as convenient. And again, this whole video is talking about location, right? They're not as convenient as some of the other places closer in. And again, I have to stress, some people may like that. They want to be away from the hustle and bustle and be out there in their own private space. So in that case, it may be a 5-star for you, but for me, it's a 2-star. It just takes longer to get to the grocery stores, takes longer to get to the freeway, takes longer to get to schools, things like that. Nothing wrong with those neighborhoods at all. They may appeal to a lot of people. They're just not as convenient as if you're closer in. Okay, so I say they're not as convenient, but they're more convenient than my opinion of the Key Peninsula, and that's why it's a 1-star. These are 2 stars. So guess what? It's gonna be more expensive on Fox Island and Gig Harbor East than it is on the Key Peninsula. It's more, publicly desirable, if you will. It's got a little bit more prestige. So for all of those reasons, property values are higher there. So you can expect to spend more to get the same type of house as you would out on the Key Peninsula.
All right, let's transition to, in my opinion, what is rated a 3-star neighborhood in Gig Harbor. And that's where we're at right now. This is Gig Harbor North, and in particular, right behind me is Harbor Hill. And here's what's so great about Harbor Hill and what I don't think is so great about it, but this is why it's a 3-star neighborhood. The fantastic thing about it is its convenience. It is probably the most convenient location in Gig Harbor. And the reason it's so convenient is it's so close to everything. So for example, the brand new Swickwater Elementary School is like 300 yards away. Everybody that lives in this neighborhood just walks there. If you're in Gig Harbor North, it's a short car ride or a bus ride to the school. Costco, YMCA, Target, Safeway, Home Depot, everything is within a quarter mile. St. Anthony's Hospital is less than a half mile away. When it comes to convenience, this is it. Freeway access, right down the hill, you're on Highway 16, either going up to Bremerton or over to Tacoma. So when it comes to the commuter lifestyle and the conveniences of having all these amenities close, there's nothing better than Gig Harbor North and Harbor Hill. So let's go into the cons of Gig Harbor North, why it's not a 5-star in my opinion, it's a 3-star. Like we talked about, the pros are really good as far as convenience, but you know what it's lacking? It's lacking the Gig Harbor charm and feel that we have become known for. So I mean, just look at these homes behind me. They're tract homes, right? They're a dime a dozen. You can find homes like that in any neighborhood USA across the country. So that's, in my opinion, it's a con. Every 4th house looks the same. However, it still is Gig Harbor, it's Peninsula School District, it's the conveniences of all the things that we have right down here, right down the hill with all the shopping, all the amenities that I already mentioned. So that, and you know what? A lot of people like these homes. It's a great sense of community, great family neighborhood, lots of kids. Halloween is off the charts, right? So lots of people that are attracted to it. It may not be your style. I get clients all the time that don't want to reach out their kitchen window and be able to hand a cup of sugar to their neighbor in their kitchen window. But some people actually like that. Less yard maintenance, sense of community, like I already mentioned. So it just depends if it's for you. And for that reason, it's a 3-star ranking. We're going to talk about another area, which in my opinion has a 3-star rating in Gig Harbor, and that is Artendale and Rosedale. And these are much more classic Gig Harbor feel. They've been around a long time. The reason it's 3 stars, in my opinion, is, like I said, it's what people have come to know Gig Harbor as, at least in the kind of, the family neighborhood kind of settings. It's not downtown. It's not in the hustle and bustle. You get out a little bit, so there is some space and things like that. They're fairly close to the freeways, depending on where you're at. You can be on the far ends of Artendale and Rosedale, especially over by Kopachuk State Park and things like that, Horsehead Bay. And it takes a while to get to the freeway, but you can be on the closer side as well. They're pretty big areas, but it's really classic Gig Harbor living for sure. So the pros of Artendale and Rosedale, it's Gig Harbor West really that I really identify with, is it's what people have come to know the residential areas of Gig Harbor to be. It's just the classic Gig Harbor feel, like I already mentioned. You have some space out there. Homes are not piled up on top of each other. There's lots of lots that are a half acre or an acre. There's even a few equestrian properties where you have 5 or 10 acres. It's not every property, but there are certainly those out there. They have great westerly views in parts of those areas looking out at the Olympic Mountains. A lot of homes on the water out there. It's a really nice area. The cons with it is you're going to find a lot of dated homes as well. It's the older part of the residential part of Gig Harbor. So you get a lot of dated homes. And so when you're looking out there, you might have some that are updated or new, and you might have a home from 1950 that hasn't been touched. Okay, so let's go through a few more pros and cons of the 3-star rating that I give Artendale and Rosedale. And you know, some of the cons are, it's just what we're used to. It's convenience. It's Gig Harbor School District. It's what everybody has come to expect out of Gig Harbor residential living. The cons are you can be far away. The cons are we're starting to creep up in price point, right? We're going to be way more expensive Artendale and Rosedale in areas that include Raft Island in there as well, above like the Key Peninsula. So same school district, very different price point. And one more thing to be mindful of, and I've touched on this a little bit earlier, but if you're looking out in the Artendale and Rosedale area and commute is important to you, really pay attention to where you're at in these areas. These are pretty big areas, and being on one side of Artendale and Rosedale could be 2 minutes from the freeway, and being on the other side could be 20 minutes from the freeway. And that could dramatically change your daily life and make it a daily grind. So just pay attention to that if that's important to you. All right, let's move on to our 4-star neighborhoods, and there's a couple of them. One of them is right behind me. This is downtown Gig Harbor. The other ones really are anything waterfront has got to be ranked at least a 4-star. I mean, you're on the water. So waterfront neighborhoods, we're talking Horsehead Bay, Woolachit Bay, out in Rosedale, Raft Island, Fox Island, right down here in downtown Gig Harbor. All of these have waterfront properties. And if you're on the water, how could it not be at least a 4-star or a 10-star for that matter? I mean, some of them are spectacular. There are some issues that you have to worry about with waterfront. One is your price point goes through the roof, of course, because it's super, super desired and super, super nice. And then there's just, you know, there's salt water in the air, right? Salty air. So it's just a little bit more maintenance on things. If you have a dock, maintaining it. If you have a bulkhead, maintaining those things, you know, so there's expenses that go with it. Everything costs more, right? Homeowners insurance, property taxes, the value of the home, all of that stuff costs you more, but you could benefit from that if you hold it for 5 or 10 years and sell down the road. And let's talk about downtown itself. I mean, come on, 4 stars, that might be underranking it a bit, but it's fantastic. And this is what Gig Harbor is known for. This is the touristy part of Gig Harbor, right? This is what attracts all the outsiders. It's the downtown charm. We have the walkways down there. We have all the restaurants and the breweries and just all the mom and pop shop. It is where the hub of activity is as far as concerts in the park, the farmers market, the Maritime Festival, and the parade. Everything happens in downtown Gig Harbor. So if you live down here, everything is walkable. It's in your backyard, literally, which is a great, great thing to have if you want to be a part of the community and a part of those activities. And if so, 4 stars for sure, probably higher. But who is downtown for? It's the people that want that lifestyle, the classic Gig Harbor lifestyle, and be involved in everything. That's who it's for. But keep in mind, there's a supply and demand. Property does not come around very often. Homes usually sell very quickly in downtown because it's in such high demand. So you're going to pay a premium for sure, but you get what you're paying for. And who is the waterfront properties for? Well, it's basically for those that can afford it. I mean, I put it as a 4/10 just because of affordability is not very much there. Otherwise, it would be a 100-star review in my book. Waterfront, oh man, it's a dream. If I could afford it to live in the type of house that I would want on the water, I'd be all over it. But we're talking a premium price point, and that rules out a lot of buyers. All right, we are going to move to my final location. This is my 5-star neighborhood of Gig Harbor. Surprise, let's see where it goes. I know, shocker. What is my 5-star neighborhood for Gig Harbor? Right here in Cannerwood. And yeah, I'm biased because I live here and I love it here, but there's so many things about Cannerwood that make it a 5-star neighborhood. So Cannerwood is a golf course community. There is a private country club. I'm standing right here next to the 18th green of Cannerwood Golf Course, and the neighborhood surrounds the golf course. It's 2 separate entities. You don't have to be a member of the club to live in here or vice versa, but the neighborhood of Cannerwood, it's got a lot of prestige to it. There's about 815 homes in here. It is a fully gated community. So pros, and let's go through the pros of Cannerwood. It's gated, it's safe. We have a 24-hour security guard at the front gate, and then there's a couple other residential gates that only residents can get in and out of. Convenience, it's right up the hill from Highway 16. Super easy to access the freeway if you're a commuter. Right up the hill from St. Anthony's Hospital. hospital, healthcare is right there. We are in still Gig Harbor North, so Costco, YMCA, Home Depot, the grocery stores, Target, all of that stuff is less than a 5-minute drive. So all of the conveniences of location plus the prestige of a gated neighborhood like this, how can you not like Canterwood? All right, so what are some of the cons of Canterwood? Well, you come in the gates, guess what? Your price point goes up a couple $100,000 just like that, just because you come in the gates. So it's more expensive. We have an HOA in here that some people might interpret as being fairly strict. It just depends on you and what you want to do. Examples, you can't leave your boat or your motorhome in your driveway for 2 weeks at a time. You just can't do that. They're not allowed here. You can leave them in your driveway for a day and overnight if you're packing up for a trip and things like that, but you can't store it in your driveway. That's just an example of some of the HOA stuff. Also, you need permission if you're going to do certain things to your yard, paint the exterior of your house. They don't want somebody painting their house fluorescent paint. Thank God. I don't want that either. So it's just an approval, and unless you're asking for something totally absurd, the HOA, in my opinion, is very reasonable, but you have to go through those formalities of getting certain things approved. So who is Canterwood for? It's those that want a country club lifestyle, want nice and clean. I mean, virtually every house and yard in here is kept up really nice. You want a sense of pride in your community, and we have our own little community within Gig Harbor here, especially if you're a member of the club and do all the social activities up here. So if you're looking for that, Canterwood might be a place that you need to consider. So if you're thinking about relocating to Gig Harbor and you don't want to learn the hard way and commit to something that causes you daily friction, make sure you reach out to us so we can go through all of the neighborhoods and see what might be the best fit for you. Again, this was just my personal ranking on a 1 to 5 star rating. My name is Darren Rivers. I am the Northwest Realtor and I am managing broker of the Rivers Group. Again, all my information is right here. We're going to put a QR code right here of the relocation guide. Please reach out to us so we can be a resource for you and get you in the right lane.